So the sunrise, why I love it, the way that I think of it is that light in the first hour of the sun being up. So today the sunrise was probably around 8:30 or so because we're getting fairly late. We're getting to the shortest day of the year when we're recording this. So 8:30 to 9:30 right now is the first hour of the sun being up. That's a really good, straightforward way to think of it. Think of that light in the first hour of the sun being up. What this light does is it gently prods a slow rise in cortisol. I hear you. Luka, cortisol is the stress hormone. I don't want to turn on cortisol. Au contraire, mon frère. You actually do want to turn on cortisol. Without cortisol, you die. Cortisol regulates your blood pressure, amongst other things. Cortisol is a hormone that prods wakefulness. And in fact, this whole circadian rhythm is actually about balancing cortisol and melatonin. Those are the two main hormones that are involved in this circadian rhythm or your circadian clock. Okay. So what happens, that morning light gently prods a slow rise in cortisol. And what's supposed to happen is first light of day, your cortisol is supposed to rise very slowly, and it's supposed to peak around lunchtime in the middle of that UVB light. And then as the day progresses and the sun starts to set, the light cues of the sunset start to make melatonin rise. And as melatonin rises, cortisol goes down. And the goal of resetting your circadian rhythm is to entrain that natural rhythm, if that makes sense. So sunrise, in that first hour of the sun being up, it is a gentle prod to slowly rise that cortisol production, in addition to your pregnenolone, which is the precursor to all of the hormones that your body makes, and to make your thyroid hormones, your dopamine, and your serotonin, which are keenly involved in mood regulation and sleep, actually. The other thing that sunrise does is it actually triggers the melatonin to stop. So when your eyeballs get the information, hey, it's sunrise, then your eyeballs say to the suprachiasmatic nucleus, whatever it's called, who cares? The hypothalamus, your clock, says, hey, it's time to wake up, stop making melatonin. So the brilliance of reading these cues stops melatonin production. That's important because now it reserves all of those ingredients for melatonin later in the day, because you need those ingredients. And part of what happens, especially in the deep winter, and I'm thinking of my pals who are further and further north of the equator, which is all of us. Natural light does this. It triggers decalcification of your pineal gland. So, or pineal gland. I call it pineal because it's shaped like a pine cone, and I want to remember that we're a part of nature. So your pineal gland is the major gland that is in charge of your sleep and wake cycle as well. So your hypothalamus reads the cues, but it sends the information to your pineal gland of what time of day it is. And that sunrise light catches on your eyeballs, sends to your hypothalamus, which tells the pineal gland or pineal gland, it's time to clean up the pineal gland. What happens in that moment is I want you to think of it as a little sweep of your pineal gland. It's like a little sweep through to clear calcified or calcium deposits in your pineal gland. And calcium deposits on the pineal gland make it not work as well. And it's the kind of thing that we have the potential of developing as we age. Calcium often will deposit in different areas of the body, and one of those spots is the pineal gland.